What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Inside Major League Pickleball. Today we have very special announcements coming your way with the group draws for Columbus. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's introduce the co-hosts of the podcast, of course, Tyson Apostol, Silent T. It is not Apostol. I learned that the hard way when we first met.
And it's not a silent T on my first name either.
Yes, that's very confusing. He's like an oxymoron. that makes sense with your personality. I think he's a Gemini, so that makes sense. And so is
How did you know that?
You told me.
Oh. I was like, is she like doing my, whatever that stuff's called?
Wait,
looking at the stars to see how compatible we are as co-hosts?
We actually are. I'm a fire sign, so air signs and fire ignite each other. And you,
yeah, everybody knows that.
Yes, so this could be dangerous. We got to find out Casey's sign. That's for another podcast. Let's do an astrology episode. Let's throw the people what they're really looking for.
Okay.
4-time Survivor contestant, along with being a Gemini. He's also Dad of the Year, voted in 2019, 2020. He's Father Nature. If you follow him on Instagram, he's very dynamic. This man, and he's a pickleball fashionista. So.
That's right.
There he is. Welcome, Tyson.
Few compare to my on-court fashion. And off-court. I mean, why limit myself to the court?
These are the cold, hard facts of MLP.
Yeah. And we're missing Casey today, Michelle.
I know. Poor Casey. He's got a fever. He is an Olympian, 2021 AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Major MVP, excuse me.
Yes,
seven time. I can't read good. That's why I went to Michigan. Just kidding.
Well, you can't read well.
I know. That's why I said it. It's supposed to be a joke.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, mine was going to be the joke on top of the joke. Come on, Michelle.
We're deep. We're layered. Okay. We're on fire this morning. I think it's the Mexico air for me, but... We'll touch on that in just a moment. It's close enough. Okay. We're both in deserts. 7-time Grand Slam medalist, father of 5. He will be joining us next week when he feels better. Prayers for Casey. He is a dynamic athlete and turning pickleball pro after hanging up his V-ball dynamic hands on the sand volleyball court. So that's exciting.
2 days ago.
Michelle. 2 days ago.
You're Michelle. 2 days ago, Casey Patterson officially retired from pro beach volleyball and is now setting his sights on pickleball. It was 2 days ago here in Phoenix, actually. There was the last event he played, and then I saw him yesterday on the courts. I feel great, but I also have one of the greatest immune systems in the world. So we'll see. Only time will tell if
Father
Casey
Nature
has rubbed off on me in any negative capacity with my health. But right now I feel great. Michelle, you are reporting from Mexico.
Yep.
What important pickleball work are you doing down there?
You know what? That's the coolest part about pickleball is the people are crazy about pickleball here in the Baja, where I currently am, off of the Sea of Cortez. I'm doing a detox cleanse, so my brain is maybe working, maybe not. I had about like 12 calories in 4 days. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I had more than that.
That's good for you.
I know. No, honestly, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy, awesome experience. I can dive on that in our astrology episode if you want. We can talk about health and wellness and all
cool. I mean, pickleball is part of health and wellness too.
It is. It is. Yeah. No alcohol for me in Mexico, which is counterintuitive. Anyways, I'm a sports broadcaster. I do pickleball. I do football. I do National Hockey League. I work with one of our guests who I can't wait to announce in just a moment quite often on the pickleball circuit. Pickleball is my favorite. It's no secret. I'm obsessed with Major League Pickleball. I'm obsessed with the sport. I want to do this for a living, so I'm manifesting it here in Mexico. Anyways, I'm on a roll. All right. Now, before we get to our guests, Tyson, go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. No pressure from the deep nodes that were mine last week on the read.
Oh, man, you did it so great last time that the pressure,
Thanks.
I'm really feeling it. I think I can do it. Here we go. In my best Michelle McMahon voice. I'm going to use my own voice. Here we go. Cameron's looking at me like he's going to do an impersonation right now. No, come on.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Actually, I think you should.
I can't. I'm not an impersonation guy. If
Wait,
I could,
do it.
I would.
Try your best.
I
Just
refuse.
try. Okay,
I
fine.
refuse.
Fair.
I have to try. I have to practice first before I just dive straight into that.
Rookie.
Oh, no. Now I feel like for pride's sake, I have to. I will not. Here we go.
I will not.
Franklin, official ball of MLP. The Franklin X40 delivers the best in-game flight out of any ball on the market. That's why this ball is the ball used at all MLP events, and great ball to play with. Aura Organic, official nutrition partner of MLP. Transform your health with plant-based nutrition from Aura. Michelle has had a lot of Aura Organic experience, part of her detox out there. That's why she looks so bright. You're glowing, Michelle.
Thanks, Tyson. Thank you.
Next, Knockaround, official sunglasses of MLP. Quality shades that won't break the bank again. I need some shades to shade the brightness of Michelle's health and wellness just radiating. And finally, Pro XR, official paddle of MLP, the only paddle custom fit for your grip. And that's it. That's what we got. Thank you to all of our sponsors here at MLP. They make it work. Here we go. Michelle.
I know it wasn't an impersonation. I feel like you nailed it, though.
I just
sound
read.
Similar. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay, now time for our very special guests. We know the commish, Brooks Wiley, rejoins us from episode 1 to drop some news bombs for us in the upcoming Columbus Major League Pickleball tournament. We'll get more on the group draws in just a moment. And Kamryn Blackwood, my new BFF in the pickleball circuit, fellow Gemini, to Tyson. Really good dynamics already happening here. We'll have to get Brooks's sign if he knows it. Otherwise, I can tell him it. Whatever.
I want you to guess.
We have to guess.
I'm guessing like an earth sign, maybe like a Capricorn, because you worked your way to the top of pickleball so quickly. What are you? When's your birthday? Are you December?
Pisces.
Oh,
Pisces.
Water. Intuitive. We'll get more on that in just a moment. But you're bringing some balance. You're bringing balance to our air. We've got fire, we've got
chaos.
water. We just need an earth sign. So we'll be balanced that way. Maybe Casey's the earth sign, but he's not here. That's okay. Continuing with Kamryn, she's a top 50 pro in the world and one of the top new and emerging pickleball analysts. If you haven't heard her work, she's incredible. She's the best voice to listen to with the insight on Major League Pickleball. She's the face of Major League Pickleball, and she's a really fun person, and I really love her. So really excited to have Kamryn join us with all the insight. So should we start with the group draws? Tyson, what do you think?
Yeah, I think let's dive into the group draws. I know we have a lot of exciting stuff to cover here, and let's get into it.
So, Brooks, we'll have you lead us for Columbus. Yeah, we've got a couple weeks now for the Major League Pickleball tournament. Unless you want to save it for the end, we could hook the audience and put it at minute 40 if you want.
Right at the very end. No, the group draw, Brooks. I want to delve into this. So there's 12 teams at Major League Pickleball.
Correct.
That means there's going to be 3 groups, A, B, and C, with 4 teams in each group. And that is the first group they play as they move through Major League Pickleball's format.
Correct. So each team plays the other team in their group one time.
Yes.
And then the top 2 out of each move on to the knockout rounds.
Okay. And so how is this structured? You have the top 3 teams all go to one group and then so on and so forth. And what is that based on? Is it based on previous performance? Is it based on duper ratings? What is it based on?
We took the top 3 teams from Newport Beach. So the Ranchers, BLQK, and Hard Eights, and we put each one of those in a separate group.
Okay.
So we drew first for who's going to be in Group A, who's going to be in Group B, who's going to be in Group C. We did that first.
Okay.
So you've got BLQK in Group A, the Ranchers in Group B, and the Hard Eights in Group C. And then we had a random shuffle lottery raffle draw.
So all the other teams are random in no particular order. So they're not based on any rating scale or
anything like that.
Okay,
no.
Got it. Okay, very exciting. So top 3 teams from Newport are all in their separate group. They've earned their way to be the strongest based on past performance in that group.
Correct.
So like seed A or the number 1 seed in that group. And let's get into it. What do we have?
Okay.
Group A. Let's talk about Group A. Who's the BLQK is Group A?
Yes, correct. Group A is BLQK,
Okay.
Jackrabbits, Lions, and Florida Smash.
Okay. Michelle, what do you think about that?
I like it, especially with the different trades happening. I think the better person to ask this question is Kamryn. Group A.
Kamryn.
Out of these teams, is there anybody that can dethrone BLQK? I know you know very well the players on the circuit. You train with them often. BLQK is so strong. So maybe the question is, if there's anyone to contend with BLQK, who would you put your money on in this pool?
In this pool particularly?
Florida Smash.
It's a good
Follow
question.
your heart.
It's a good question because it was interesting the trades that came into it. So what's cool about it is you have Lacey Schneeman, who stepped up for BLQK, came in for Paris Todd. She was injured in Newport Beach. Now she's back in and going to be competing against that team within her pool. So I think that's something to be said there. I think she grew a lot of confidence. I think she's confident in playing that team. The Lions are solid. I think they really hit their stride a little late, but I think they have a really solid group, and they were starting to gel. So I'm looking for them to they didn't make any trades. They're staying strong in exactly what they want. They have a pattern. They have a strategy. So I'm looking for them actually to kind of be like the dark horse in this group, just because they didn't make changes. And I think they're very secure in their team, just some minor adjustments. So kind of looking for them to give BLQK a run.
So out of these teams, Lacey is on Florida Smash.
Correct.
Who did she replace?
She came in for Lee Whitwell, who got traded.
Okay. And Lee got traded to a different team.
Correct.
And what other changes are we seeing in these 4 teams? It looks like BLQK is the exact same team they were when they won in Austin, when they played in Newport. They're just going to try and keep the ball rolling there, I assume.
Yes. And then we had Hunter Johnson. He got traded to the Jackrabbits. So brand new player coming onto the scene. Never been a part of Major League Pickleball, so we're really excited to have him. He's been making a name for himself on the other tours, heavy in singles, and now he's been really making a name for himself in doubles, which, as we all know in MLP, that's huge. You have to be a solid doubles player, but then you also have to be a solid singles player. So I think he really fits both roles, and with his personality and his athleticism, I think he's going to be a great fit for Jackrabbits to finally make like a good push in MLP.
Okay. Are
also
these
Vivian David is also new, was traded to the Jackrabbits. So Vivian next to Maggie Brasha on the Jackrabbits.
Okay.
Which is at least on the Jupiter ratings, a pretty big upgrade. And that starts off the match, strong for them.
And then you have sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. We touched on this a little bit last week, but like Vivian David played really strong in Austin. She was in Newport. Why are they trading a player like this? What is the basis? Is it all just based on chemistry within the team at this point because everyone's duper rating is so high and their skill level is there? It's just now like, small incremental gains wherever they can get them. Is that what's going on? Like,
Kamryn, do you have an answer for that?
I definitely. Oh, go ahead. So I was going to say, like Zane Navratil said it perfectly when I was interviewing him back at Newport Beach. He said, MLP is not about pickleball. It's about chemistry and it's about energy. So if you can match those two together with the right people, I think you can win a lot of matches. We saw this with ATX pickleballers in Austin. Who knew that they were going to be as solid as they were and contend and keep winning and keep winning and keep winning when they didn't have the strongest singles players on the team, but it worked. They had the chemistry, they had the energy that took them that far. So I think right here with getting Vivian David over, her and Adam Stone play really well together in doubles. They don't do it a lot, but when they match up, they have great chemistry. So I think they're just looking for those little tiny matchups to even make just 1 point difference, or hey, if we can even just get a 22-20 win, but those 2 points can make a crucial impact for us moving forward. I think that's what a lot of these teams did, where some made a really big change and some made the subtle changes that I think are going to make even a bigger difference.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And that's a really interesting point because when you look at like the accomplishments of some of these players and then all of a sudden they're traded somewhere else and you're like, why would you trade that person? They're known as one of the top players here. And it does. I mean, you think about any team dynamic, a lot of times it is more about the chemistry and the energy of the team. You look at these super teams across a lot of sports and they don't perform as well as you think they should just based on the fact that they can't work together or don't work together as well as someone else who maybe needs to take like a step back and not be in the leadership role or the superstar role, etc. So that's interesting. I love that dynamic within Major League Pickleball, where it's more than just the skill level. It's like being able to work within that foursome.
And it just relates back to collegiate tennis. You know, it's having that chemistry, it's having that energy and just that belief in that person. So even let's say they're not the best, but you have belief in their skill set for that particular matchup. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's what I see the most success with these teams is when they can team up and there's just belief in that person, regardless of the skill, they do better.
Awesome. Anything else from Group A before we move on to Group B?
Just want to say that based on the Duper power ratings, which take into account both the team doubles total and the singles total, it's kind of an index of both of those. Duper actually has BLQK and Florida Smash both as the top number 1 and 2 teams out of all 12 teams.
Oh, well, and they were the finals in Austin. Those two teams were in the finals, and it was very, very close. That's the thing that jumped out to me, actually, when I first saw the group draw here is BLQK and Florida Smash in the same pool, because that will be a matchup that we saw in the finals in Austin is now going to happen very, very early in the Columbus event. Kamryn, who's your pick there?
We just had Travis and JW here this last weekend playing with Paris. So you have BLQK and Smash like already playing against each other. So we gave them a hard time. If I take a step back and I really just look at stats and everything, I see BLQK coming out on top with that one. I just think they haven't made any changes. They're very solid. They're very confident in what they can do. You had Paris and Irina playing in a previous tournament a couple of weeks ago. So they're putting in the work outside of MLP to get that chemistry, to get the wins on different tours, to bring it into MLP play. So that's my pick. And it's no friendships aside. That's my honest pick is BLQK coming out on that one.
Okay, so if you had to pick just based on friendships, would that be different?
Well, that's not fair.
See, you brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
Well, I just think some people might think, oh, she's biased because of this or that. I will always be unbiased when I talk about pickleball.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks.
A very politically correct answer. And she is unbiased. I can attest. I work with her.
Yeah, as you two profess your best friendship for each other, and me and Brooks are sitting here trying not to tear up.
Yeah, we have a different podcast after this.
You guys aren't invited. Sorry. Just kidding.
That's okay.
All right. Group B.
Group B.
Group B.
Group B.
Let's do it.
The number 1 seed, the Ranchers. Then we have Chimeras, the Bus, and Mad Drops Pickleball Club.
Woohoo!
Okay.
I think the interesting thing here, at least for me, and I know we maybe touched on this last week, but a very different looking Bus team with Susanna Barr, Lauren Stratman, Wesley Burrows, and Eric Lang. So I don't know. Maybe we start there. What is jumping out to you about Pool B? Obviously, the Ranchers are really good. They haven't changed. They're the team to beat. Let's start with the Bus and what the different makeup looks like there, Cam.
I was surprised that those trades happened. Just with Susanna coming over, I really thought that her and Georgia had a good chemistry. Again, I don't know what's discussed within these teams. I would love to get some insight on that, but I know it's very private and they're strategic moves. They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. It's just the matchups that work best for them. But I really think that Lauren and Susanna are going to complement each other very well. You have Susanna, who can hit these incredible drop rolls and can be very consistent. And her communication, I think, is the best in the game. When she's out there, it's yours, mine, every single ball. There's no discussion as to a mix-up of who's going to get it. And then you have Lauren, who can create shots that you don't even train for. Her inside-out rolls, she can really set up Susanna, and she has very quick hands. So you have the power game and the consistent game, and then incredible communication. So I see them starting off, especially with women's doubles, getting a win right off the bat. And I think that's really going to give the bus confidence that they've been missing. They need this confidence because they do have a solid team now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts from you on that, Brooks?
Yeah, I think this team could be, again, if you look at the Duper ratings, they're not particularly high there, but I think this team, given Lauren and Susanna and we saw that was kind of a blueprint for success for the Ranchers in Newport, was getting the first win every time. Just really, really helps. And I think this, Wes is getting more experience. Eric is a highly, highly, highly underrated player, maybe the most underrated male player, I think, on all the teams. I think they could be a dark horse and mess some things up.
No pun intended, Susanna Barr.
Yes, there's the Gemini jokes. And then you have Chimeras, which an interesting switcheroo there. Yeah, so we have Gabe Tardio now in the mix. We have Daniel De La Rosa, Kyle Yates, formerly on this team. He's on another team now. Andrea Coop, Megan Fudge. What excites you, Kamryn?
Oh, the men. Those are two of my favorite players to watch, period. Their trick shots, how they create points, their patterns are very different than a lot of the men on tour. So if you please watch them, look out for Chimeras. And you have the leader of the whole team, Andrea Coop. She leads that team. I think I put her and Simone at the top of leading the teams. Her strategy that she has a strategic game plan. They don't waver from the game plan when they go into these matches. You'll see her go to the opposite side of the court. I mean, she's with her team consistently. So I think that you're going to have a lot of fire with Gabe and with Daniel. And I'm so excited because they have the best trick shots in the entire game.
Well,
I love it.
And Daniel comes from a racquetball background, which is so much different than any other player. I don't think there's another player in Major League Pickleball that is a racquetball background. Is there?
I don't think so.
Especially not as high, if so. I mean, he's like one in the world.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
he still does it.
Yeah. I played with him yesterday. He was with me and Casey. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. And he's better than me. So if that goes into your analysis at all.
Just slightly.
Yeah. I mean, at pickleball.
Yeah, but how's his fashion game?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Oh.
But, I mean.
Is he better than you there then, too? 0 for 2 for Tyson.
I mean, my shorts were shorter. My hat was brighter. Yeah, my shoes were popping. Socks brand new.
Well, then.
I was looking good.
Then it's still a win in your book.
Yeah. So he wins pickleball. Yeah, exactly. I mean, fashion's part of it, right? Looking good. Okay.
Play good.
Okay, so who else do we have? Do we have anybody else in that pool that's a newcomer, that's a big team mix-up? What do we got going on, Kamryn?
I think Mad Drops are so, so strong. I cannot say that enough. The second I saw the trades, so now you have Lee Whitwell, Julian Arnold, AJ Kohler, and Mary Brasha. Oh, my gosh. I mean...
Explain that trade, Cam, for those who didn't see it.
Sorry. So we have Lee Whitwell coming over from Florida Smash. And we had AJ Kohler coming over from the Jackrabbits, and Julian Arnold stayed. Mary Brasha came. Woo,
it was Mary and AJ traded for Vivian and Adam. I believe was the original trade, and then there were some players dropped, and then Lee was picked up on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I just think this dynamic is great. Mary now has insane confidence. She's now medaling at every single tournament she goes to, whether it's mixed doubles, women's singles. So I just think her confidence is through the roof right now. You have Lee, who's solid. She's one of the best resetters in the entire game. So even though she may not have the punch to finish a point, she's going to keep you in a point. And sometimes that's a better option, especially when you have fiery players like Julian Arnold and AJ Kohler. So that dynamic right there is so much personality that they're going to win on energy, and they're going to win on getting in your face, and they're going to win on confidence. So, and skill. I mean, they have skill, but having all of those elements inside a team, they're hard to beat. So I'm so excited to watch this team. I think the crowd's going to get behind Mad Drops for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
How about the Ranchers? Anna Bright. So fun. So fun to watch on that team. I guess the question with them, they're the team to beat. Why are they so hard to beat? Because in addition to the energy you were referencing, Kamryn, with Zane speaking on that, it's not just about the pickleball. Obviously, they're stacked with talent, but they also have the energy on their side. What else makes them the most challenging team in this pool from your analysis?
They refuse to lose. That's just as simple as that. They refuse. I mean, they have a chip on their shoulders. They were the only team coming in this year with no veterans. So no one played last year. I mean, these were all brand new players that came in here, and they had something to prove. And when you have someone like Anna Bright, and you have a DJ, and now you have James, who's stepping on the scene with, I think, one of the best backhands in the entire game, and then someone so consistent as Jackie, who can keep you in the point, I just think they're not looking back. They're looking to not only win another MLP, but another and another and another. I just see this team being very strong for a very long time because they're only going to get better.
What about you, Brooks? Anything else jumping out that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, just going back to the same thing that Anna and Jackie were undefeated in Newport, and that just sets the tone in every match. And then they're both, I mean, they basically have two number one women on one team. You know, team women that you would draft in the first round of a new draft. So Anna can play the left side in mixed doubles also sometimes. They're perfect complement to each other in mixed doubles. Jackie's just super solid and consistent and doesn't give up a lot, and Anna can be aggressive. And then I think James was considered like a huge reach at the time, sort of like even looking into 2023. And he stepped up and proved that he can play doubles as well as singles.
Mm-hmm. That would be where I would only say their hiccup is the men's doubles, is they didn't do very well, but they made it work. So to me, that shows me how strong they are internally, because they weren't strong in men's doubles where you think, oh my gosh, that's a win. That has to be a win. And they made it work and they won. So I'm looking for them to maybe take a step back strategic wise of the specific roles that James and DJ need to play and stick to that. Not sometimes they can be like, I want to do this flashy shot, I want to do this, which is great, but I think they need to get back to a very strategic plan and stick to that at least through group stage play. And then I still see them being in the finals 100%, but I think that's going to be their only hiccup, is if they don't get that straightened out.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite from this group? Who's the favorite head and shoulders to win this thing? Would be an upset. Is it the upset. Ranchers? Is that the team?
Oh yeah. To me, it's Ranchers for sure in Group B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. But
Sorry,
I think
everyone.
the bus can be the X factor.
And you're saying this professionally, right, Kamryn? It's not based on any friendships or anything that you have within the teams.
I see it being Chimera's. Well, crap. Then you have Mad Drops. I don't know. Like that, the Group B is really tough for me.
With friends,
they're strong teams. Actually,
just so many friends.
I actually thought you were talking about friendships for a second.
Oh my God, no!
I was like, that's a good group of friends you got there, Cam. I'm a little jealous, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm friends with most, almost. I would say everyone, but that's going to be a very, very strong group. But I do see the Ranchers coming out on top for sure.
Okay.
Let's hear about Group C.
Yeah.
Group C. Group C, the number one seed was Hard Eights. And then we have Team Clean Cause, ATX Pickleballers, and the Fives.
Okay.
What are the biggest shakeups we have there in that group on a team? Like new players? Do we have trades? New players? Have it all? What's going on?
Do you want me to go, Brooks, or you want to hop in?
Go ahead, Cameron.
So we have Sierra Gayton Leach, who is brand new to MLP. She's going to come over and join Hard Eights alongside Georgia Johnson. If you guys didn't know, they played in a Pickleball Night in America earlier in June, did very, very well against a strong team of Lauren Stratman and Mary Brasha. So I'm looking for them to be a solid team, and I think she's going to bring just a different dynamic to the team. And then we have Federico Staxrud, who I see all the time down here, heading to Team Clean. And then we have Ben Newell, who joined Mad Drops in Austin and is now back on the fives. And then ATX Pickleballers, they did not make any changes. So they still are the same team. So, One
more change is Kyle Yates was traded from the bus to the Hard 88. So you've got Andre Descu and Kyle Yates, who have played together and think done pretty well this year. That's a pretty good men's team.
Yes. You are correct.
What's the most exciting change here? Which one are you looking forward to the most and thinking will be the most advantageous for one of these teams? Any thoughts, Kamryn?
Georgia and Sierra are going to be, I think, can be super aggressive.
Okay. Where did Sierra come from?
She was not on a team, and then she was picked up.
But where would people have seen her? Is she playing APPs? Is she just making the rounds everywhere? How's she
played
doing?
in that Selkirk event, and then has been playing on all both the APP and PPA tours. Like Kamryn said, she played in the Pickleball Night in America, Newport Beach. She plays out of that Newport Beach TTC club, so trains with Mary and Maggie and a lot of the players that Paris, who formerly lived down there. So a lot of the players know who she is, and I think she's been one of those ones who's just been kind of just on the outside, like maybe could have been picked up even in Newport, and now she's got her shot.
Yeah, and something to feed off of that is her and Paris actually took Lucy and Callie to 3 sets at a tournament earlier this year. So very strong. She has a lot of knowledge. She teaches a lot. So I think that has really played into her game. I think when you're a teacher, you kind of see it from a different perspective. So I think that's really elevated her game even more so. I think that she's going to be, and she has a big reach and she's very strong. Yeah. So I think that's going to help a lot. And they're just going to have to find the dynamic. Georgia loves to speed things up. The game is evolving to that. So as long as Sierra's hands are there, I think they're going to be a very, very strong team. I think Hard Eights are still, you're going to have Andre, you're going to have Kyle. That's a loud men's doubles team. Oh my gosh. I'm excited to see how they're going to play their mixed. I want to see the matchups of that. Matchup.
Yeah.
Any input? What would you do there with the mixed?
Me? I would keep Georgia and Andre together. I think that they created a really good dynamic in Newport, and they as you watch them, they flowed really well. Like it was like a consistent string that went between them. But Kyle and Sierra, I mean, they're going to have to really work on that beforehand because, does Kyle like a lot of the court? That's what you're going to have to figure out. The women's part is very intricate. Or do you want someone who's going to stand her ground? Do you want someone that's going to back off a little bit? How does the guy work best so then you can capitalize and be better for him? I know people are like, oh, the girls don't matter in mix. I think we matter the most because we have to make sure that we're in the correct position to set the guy up to be successful. And I don't care what people say. That's just the facts. So I think as long as they figure out that dynamic early on, I think I could see, Kyle and Sierra being a strong team.
Okay. So who's your pick in Group C to, come out on top there?
So if you looked at the duper, this team, all the teams in Group C are very, very close. I mean, within how many points, Brooks? I mean, it's tight in Group C.
They're like 24.4, 20. Yeah. They're, like within, it's like hundredths of a point, I think, difference between the.
Wow.
That's it's the only group that has that. All the other groups, there's some discrepancy, like a little bit higher here, but the Group C is, they're pretty similar.
So it's then going to come down to just the day and the energy and the chemistry and all of those things that will come into play maybe even greater or more so when the teams are so evenly matched.
I think ATX Pickleballers per the Duper ratings is actually they are the third rated team out of everybody. And I think ATX Pickleballers is one of those teams that's maybe not super flashy. You've got Dylan, Sarah, Pablo, and apologize, I can't remember the last woman, and Jade. Oh yeah, Jade. They're just super solid, and they just win. So that they can be a really tough team.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see Federico hop over to the clean with Dekel Bar. So I think his movement is really great now, and his hands are getting better every single day. So when you have someone like Dekel on your side, I mean, it's pretty hard to lose. So, but again, it's finding that dynamic that works for them, because there's a lot of confidence. Like, guys usually come in like, I want to be the alpha, and you have to figure that out, and you have to be okay with that and secure in that. So that's the only thing, is just making sure that he kind of fits right in his role. And I think.
So are you telling him to be the beta?
In the guys, he has to be, I think.
In the guys, he has to be the beta.
Okay. Dekel's just too long. And, like, that's
athletic.
Dekel's
just on straight build alone.
Natural position.
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think that's a negative term at all.
No, not at all.
Some people think like, oh, you're a beta, then you're just
betas rule the world.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? A strong beta is sometimes better than a strong alpha. And so,
yes,
to me, I think that, that's going to be a good look. Fed is very confident. He's now won singles and a lot of tournaments and is making finals after final. And then let's hop over to the fives. We now have Ben Newell joining a very, very, very strong team with Simone Jardim, Lena, and Nunnery. So, Nunnery is going to be jumping back in. He's healthy now. That dynamic, I'm interested. Ben's a lefty. So how are they going to fit that into their team dynamic?
Mm-hmm. Why do you think they went with Newell? Other than obviously,
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. That's okay.
I don't know, but go ahead, Mark.
Sorry to put you guys on the spot there.
That's,
you didn't speak to the owner before this, Brooks? What's happening?
Yeah,
come on.
I did not. I think that might be one of those ones where they're just looking for a shakeup, but I don't know if Kamryn has any other thoughts on it.
I mean, what I'm thinking in my head, if I really don't know, is maybe Gabe got picked up to the Chimeras, and so they're like, okay, who's another strong male that we want to slot in this? And Ben is very solid, and he has grown so much confidence. I mean, him and Julian Arnold played insane in Austin. They were some of the that was the funnest match to watch. I mean, Ben has this crazy flying one-handed backhand that is insane. So, and now learning the doubles game a little bit more, of creating the patterns to set up his teammate, I think is going to be crucial. But I think he's preparing right now. He's training, and I think he's going to be a really good addition.
He's a twin.
He did really well in that
Selkirk.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what he told me. I don't know. Sorry, you had actual insight, Brooks, and I cut you off. Unless my memory does not serve me correctly. Maybe.
Why would he lie about that? So weird.
I have a best friend.
I think that'd be a hilarious lie to tell people. Now that we thought about that, I'm going to start telling people I have a twin. Sorry, Brooks. What were you saying? You had actual insight.
I think Ben did really well in the Selkirk tournament earlier this year as well, where they had different players playing with other different players. I think he, again, proved that he belongs. And Kamryn said he's insanely quick and dynamic. And so, again, I think it's just one of those things where they shook something up, and we'll see where it falls.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. All right. Now we have all the groups.
I'm excited. Another fantastic display of pickleball prowess happening in Columbus in, what is this, 2-3 weeks now?
Yes.
It's coming up.
2.5 weeks, I think.
2.5 weeks. Here we go. I know Casey's not with us today, but he is an aspiring pro pickleball player.
Sounds like
and
he
we're
died.
talking about trades.
He's no longer with us today.
In memory of him, I would like to ask you. He's alive and well. He's just under the weather, and he will listen to this. And so what does it take for these players? We see these new players come in. Where did they come from? How did they get there? What is the process to get on a Major League Pickleball team? So can you take us through that real quick? If Casey, you have to meet a certain skill level, right? Mm-hmm. And so once you're above that,
correct. Yeah.
Go ahead. What is the skill level?
I mean, I had somebody actually text me this, somebody who's an aspiring pro player text me this exact question about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago.
Let's hear it.
And my exact reply was, you need to play pro events, whether that's on the APP or PPA, and you have to have results, because that's the only way that you're going to get drafted onto teams. Number one, you have to convince your peers that you belong, because they do have input with the owners on who's drafted. And then just it's the way math works. When you win, your rating goes up, and you get included in that pool of players. So, and
there's
yeah.
Is there an application? There's an application process
Yes.
to even be
Correct.
involved in being picked up, right? So
Correct.
So you're looking for to apply. You have to have a certain skill rating. Yeah, obviously have to belong there,
Mm-hmm.
and then where does it go from there?
Then so what we did the last time, and what we'll probably do for 2023 as well, is after Columbus, once we figure out what our format is for next year, what our total, how many events we're going to do, we'll open that application process again, and then have it open for a certain period of time. And then what we did was we took all of the applicants, and then I basically had a cutoff given that there were 24 men and 24 women were going to be drafted, I cut it off at roughly the top 50 men and top 50 women in Duper at that time. Then I made those were available as they were the draft pool, and we gave that draft pool to the ownership group, and then from there it was up to them. And during every one, what we've done is every time the first player is picked, we put that player in touch with the owner immediately, and then that player typically has some pretty big input into some of the other picks
Who they want to work with on their team. Mid-season, there's changes and stuff like that. Can people apply between events to then get put in the pool there,
Yes.
or is it closed after the first? Is it so?
No, so this year we had a draft after a shuffle, what we call the shuffle draft after each event. We had one after Austin. We had the draft in the beginning of the year. We had the shuffle draft after Austin, the shuffle draft after Newport, prior to Columbus. So yeah, I mean, you saw, I think Wes Burrows couldn't play in Austin, but he was picked up in Newport. There were a number of players that were not in the draft pool prior in Austin that either played their way up by having results in professional pickleball in general, or because they weren't available because they had a previous engagement in Austin or something like that. So we will do that again next year. I think, depending on the number of events we have, we'll decide. Again, if it's 3 events, we'll probably do it between each one. If it ends up being more, then we'll have to figure out what that cadence is. But there will be some mechanism by which it allows for new people to come in. Because again, as we've discussed the last time, you had 2 new guys this weekend, Derek Shearer and I think something Garnett, people I'd never even heard of before. And I follow a lot of players came in and medaled in the APP event. So I think that trend is just going to continue next year. So we will definitely include the mechanism by which new people can come in and, get picked up.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people are wondering how these players are picked and stuff. So that's great information to know. Anything else with the pools or with drafting before we, move on to our closing statements?
I don't know, Kamryn, do you have anything more on the pools?
I really don't. I think it's going to be very interesting because I do want people to keep in mind that these are the teams now. Injuries happen, illnesses happen. There's a lot that happens that you can get you can have a brand new team by the time you get to Columbus. Now, it's not ideal, but it happens. So I want people to be aware, like, just because someone hurt, I mean, you can draft someone in that can make a crazy difference. We saw this with Rob Nunnery bringing in Gabe Tardio. That was a huge game changer for them that got them into the semifinals. So I just want people to know that, hey, I may be in the pool to get drafted, and you got to be ready. Like, just because you're an alternate or just because you're in the pool, you have to be ready to be selected regardless of if you think I don't have a shot in the heck to get there. You could be called up the match before to hop on the court. So that's what's really cool about MLP is you don't have to forfeit or anything. You really have a say in how to win that match, even if your full team isn't ready to play. So I think that's a really good dynamic that they're implementing now into MLP, that you can make that trade if there's an injury or so forth.
Yeah. I wonder how privy these like alternate players are too, to like to the teams that would select them. Like, okay, first girl we would take, first guy we would take if somebody goes down. I don't know. I know you guys can't really touch on that because you probably haven't talked about it, but well, are they allowed to have that communication with these players of like, hey, by the way, be ready because we're going to you first if so-and-so, if any of our players go down? Do you know if there's any communication like that?
I think that did happen in Newport Beach. We are currently reviewing the rules, and we'll make some. There will be some new rule announcements coming up in the next week or so for what the injury and alternate substitution rules are in Columbus.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody found a loophole, and we're now plugging it up. I like that. That's pickleball right now, especially Major League Pickleball with the new format and stuff, and rules come into play. And until a rule is exploited or stretched, it's hard to have measures in place to keep that from happening. So always evolving.
I love it.
Nothing else like it.
Always, exactly.
There's nothing else like it. How many commercials have you done, Kamryn?
32.
Major League Pickleball.
32.
Nothing else like it. I'm in one of them that says $1 million, and I look like a crazy person, but that's okay. I'll take it. Any press is good press, right, Tyson?
I've heard that. Yeah, I don't know if that's always been my experience, but yeah, I have heard that.
Well, that was fun, guys. I had a blast.
Very fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We talked about minor league pickleball last week. Where can the amateurs sign up for this thing, Brooks?
So I think the Duper 20 version is already full. We're running this version as a pilot. Okay. I believe we'll put there are a couple spots left for the Duper 22 team. We'll make that announcement live within the next couple of days, probably before Friday for sure. And again, I just want everybody to know this is meant to be a pilot. We had the teams available. We're going to see how this works. And then later this year, we will announce like a full, I'm not sure if it's a full schedule, but we will be running this out to where hopefully other venues or pickleball, people that run pickleball events nationwide can run this type of event at their facility as well. So just more details coming is the best I can say at this point.
Awesome. And where can we get tickets to come and enjoy Major League Pickleball in Columbus?
MajorLeaguePickleball.net is our website. There's a live link there to get tickets or to reserve a spot for any of the sessions. I think it's based on Friday, Saturday, and then Sundays divided into two between the morning session and then the Sunday evening session, the finals.
Okay. And not to give up too much information, I know there are huge announcements around new owners for upcoming seasons, upcoming events, and very, very exciting stuff. I know things are dropping soon. Stay tuned for that. I'm Tyson Apostol with Michelle McMahon, together with Kamryn Blackwood and Brooks Wiley. And this has been another episode of Inside Major League Pickleball. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. See you next week.